What's the deal? YouTube. I'm back with my boy D, the tech guy from Xbox Beast 5. Hold on one second. Let me turn my TV down in the background. I don't want to get a copyright strike for because music. Hold on one second, guys. All right, yeah, I'm back. I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm back. I haven't been around for like 2-3 days. So, Dean, you're gonna have to fill me in. What the hell's going on? What these new latest rumors, specs, or is it something that's probable? But anyway, let me start off by saying, there's I don't know if are these new leaks or it's the same leak or, but they're saying that I guess. Well, if you don't know, it's come on. Of course, Microsoft came out and said that the Xbox Scorpio, they're gonna have the world's most powerful console of 6 teraflops. Yada yada yada. Now, according, I've seen some specs. I've seen, I don't want to keep talking about that shit again, but according to everything with specs and stuff, the PlayStation 4 Neo is going to be 4.1, 4.2 teraflops. You know what I mean? Now, with this new stuff that's coming out, now they're saying the PlayStation 4 Neo is going to be 5.5 teraflops, if I'm not mistaken. You take it over, Dean. What's going on? Fill me in. I guess I haven't been here for a few days.
Yeah, they're throwing some numbers around. So basically, there's a new article here stating that the PS4 Neo might be more powerful than we think. And basically, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan, he did an interview with some French magazine, and they asked him about the 2 teraflop performance difference on the Xbox Scorpio compared to the Neo. And he said that basically people are just doing speculations on the specs, and they should wait till both machines come out. And he basically laughed off, saying that he laughed off when they said that the Xbox Scorpio is going to perform 2 teraflops more than the PS4 Neo.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what happened. He laughed it off, and they said he really laughed it off like hard, like what a big joke.
Did they say that it's not going to be that big of a leap, or it's not that big of a deal?
That he's basically saying that it's not that big of a leap, or maybe it's not even a big leap at all. He's trying to insinuate that, which is absolute bullshit. Okay. I'll say that right now, because if you want to go back to what Phil Spencer said, I believe it was last week or the week before, that they could have went with a refresh on the Xbox this year, making it more powerful because the hardware was available, but they wanted to go true 4K gaming. So they decided to wait till next year.
Okay.
Now, if you're in the know-how of all the GPUs that are coming out, we know that Polaris was released.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's going to be the specs have been released. It's going to come out actually this Wednesday, the RX 480, and to no one's surprise, it has the exact same specs as the leaked PS4 Neo specs.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
No, okay, finish.
Yeah, so it has the same specs as the PS4 Neo. So you can't clock it the same as you clock it in a PC, because it's in a much close box. It's the heat, and you can't. So it gets downclocked, right? So
let me ask you a question. Maybe you can fill me in. Now, what card is coming out this Wednesday, or what's it? The RX?
The RX 480 is coming out this Wednesday.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, so is it the RX 480? So the same, I guess, specs or teraflops. Now, is this going to will it be the same as a mobile GPU? Because the PS4 and the Xbox One, they don't use, the same graphics card you use mobile, so you put your laptop is a smaller machine. Now, is it the same power?
It's basically the same power. It's custom made for the console, obviously, but it's using the same architecture. It has the same amount of CUs. It's just going to be clocked lower for the heat, because it can't be clocked as high. So no, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same GPU.
Okay, so the same teraflops. So what is the teraflops on the RX 480?
The teraflops on the RX 480, I believe they're 5.5 teraflops.
So you're saying that the PS4 maybe the RX 480. So instead of it being 4.2 teraflops, it's going to be 5.5 teraflops now.
They will not get that inside the PS4. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can't have the same clocks in a console that you have in a GPU. It's just not going to happen.
Well, that's what I was
Like,
saying. So you can't be far spec when it's smaller in box and as far as with heat. You know what I mean? And the reason I'm asking this before because I mean I got my first rig, right? And and we're just looking. If you look at any graphics card, I don't know much about AMD. I'm over the NVIDIA guy, but if you look at the GTX Titan or whatever, the graphics card, it's about as long as my goddamn farm. You know what I mean? So you're not putting that actual card there. I know that inside of a console, the card is longer than the goddamn console. You know, thick wise, you know what I mean? So, you know, then I, started looking around. You know, these days went with more of what you call mobile, the same thing you would put inside a laptop. Now, like I said, with that being said, and like I said, how should I say this? Maybe because the public is just hearing about it now. You know, these developers and stuff have been going over these. I'm gonna say this. Let me reword. Let me start from scratch. When Microsoft, Sony, or I don't know much about Nintendo. Nintendo does their own thing, but when Microsoft and Sony, when they make new hardware or they go to third parties and say, "Hey, this is what we think about making. What can you guys do with this?" Prime example: when Microsoft just gave us the flash of the Xbox Scorpio, you've seen developers from different third party companies on stage talking about what they wanted in X, Y, and Z. So you know what I mean? Also, too, the R&D. Sony has been making this console for the last 2 years. You know what I mean? So the R&D, research and development, make sure the console doesn't overheat, yada yada, the shape, the casing, intake, airflow. They don't want any problem. No one's carpet to catch on fire. So a lot of stuff that goes into that. It's a lot of money. So just because Microsoft came out and said, "Hey, we have this is at a minimum," and we're not even talking about adding the CPU, because Microsoft also, I was talking to, I'm not going to say anything, I was talking to one of the higher ups at Microsoft, right? Let's say that. And I asked him, quote unquote, more or less off the record, I'm not going to say his name, but, you guys were talking about the GPU as it being just 6 teraflops. I mean, that's not including whatever they're going to use Zen and this, that, and the other. They say, no, that's just from the GPU aspect of it, at a minimum, 6 T-flops. So, of course, when this came out, Sony has been beating their pride in itself on being the world's most powerful console. That's been Sony's stake this whole year. Even they staked last generation. Remember, they were saying that the PS3 can do 1080p, 120 frames per second. I bullshit you not. They were saying this, but there's no TVs out right now to match the power of the PlayStation 3. Sony was actually saying this shit. I bullshit you not. They said that the PS3 can do 1080p, 120 frames a second.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, but there were no TVs on the market that can harness the power of the PlayStation 3. Yeah. Now, with that being said, so of course, fans, and people now they like the games, but everything's been about power. So Microsoft comes out and says, "Hey, we have a minimum of 6 teraflop, console." So now we're hearing specs. Oh, no. Sony can go back and change. Why did Microsoft should announce their specs and Sony can go back? Hey, listen, the goddamn console is coming out in October and November. First of all, so when they sign, I'm gonna say this again in layman's terms. When Sony signs their contract, they're gonna buy 1 million of 2.5 Xbox, or Captain Crunch chips. All right, they paid for those. The AMD has made those chips for Sony. Sony can't go back and say, "You know what? Nah, we don't want these million. Take these back. Now give us the one higher than that." It doesn't work like that. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that. And then also too, even about to say about them changing the said chip, they're going to basically scrap all of the R&D, the money they spent for the last 2 years. Like this doesn't really make any sense. If going by that same narrative, like some of you Sony fans are saying, I think a lot of these articles are said clickbait. That when it came out that it was announced that the PlayStation 4 was going to be more powerful than the Xbox One before E3, right? If that was the case, Microsoft would have come back and changed some of their goddamn specs at the last minute. Only thing that Sony can do is probably overclock the CPU a little bit more, and basically that's about it. But the chips that they're paid for, the contracts are signed. If you look at the thing from AMD, and they said they wanted to have 3 chips or whatever that are coming out for consoles this, you know what I mean? They already signed. I'm sorry, AMD exact words that we have the contracts for 3 chips that are coming out this year and quote unquote next year. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, contracts are already signed. The ink is dry. You can't go back and fucking unless Sony's gonna say, you know what, fuck, we just gonna eat the cost of these fucking 2 million fucking chips that we bought, and that doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what I mean?
No, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, you're correct. It's a custom made sock, so it's like an APU.
Yeah.
So it's a little different but it has the same specs. It's just they fit onto one die, right?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so we know that Microsoft said that they could have upgraded their console this year, but they chose to go with true 4K gaming, so they're going to wait till next year. So we know that the PS4 Neo is coming out this year because the developers already have dev kits for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the leaked documents, it says that all PS4 games from October this year forward must have a Neo mode. So now, if this system is not coming out this year, it makes zero sense for them to mandate that developers have all the games running in a Neo mode by October this year. That makes no sense right there. Also, too, the fact that Microsoft said that they could have had new hardware this year, but they waited till next year, tells us that it's not the Polaris GPU, because that's available now, and the Vega GPU is not available yet. It's not done yet. It doesn't come out until either the end of 2016 or early 2017. So right there, that tells you they're on two different architectures. One's on Polaris, one's on Vega. Vega, no matter what they do to Polaris will not outperform Vega. It just will not.
Mm-hmm.
It will not outperform it. So this whole the specs could change, and it's all nonsense. Sony wants to actually. Microsoft was very smart with the marketing of the Xbox One S. By coming out in August, they get the jump on the PS4 Neo for the HDR 4K Blu-ray converts out there, the people that have the TVs, right?
Mm-hmm.
These guys are going to look at this and say, oh my God, it's $299 for a 4K HDR Blu-ray player. You're going to get a lot of casual people just picking up the Xbox One alone just for its HDR capabilities. Sony is not going to want to wait another 6-7 months before they can jump on those customers. They need those customers too, because don't forget, Sony's got 4K HDR TVs too that they want to sell.
And also too, they want the Neo to come out this year because also to get a jump on quote unquote the Scorpio. It's going to be a hard sell for Sony to. I don't know. Probably they're going to be between $400 to $500 for the new console, whatever the case may be. And if Microsoft's the same price, can they be the same position Microsoft was in, justifying the same price for a quote unquote a weaker console? You know what I mean? Why am I paying $400 for quote unquote the Neo when I can buy an Xbox Scorpio for $400 and it's more powerful? You know what I mean? Sony wants to get the jump on Microsoft on the quote unquote the Xbox Scorpio. Now, what are these? You have the article in front of you, the massive PS4. What's the said? What are they saying here in the article? The guy Osiris Black.
Which article is this one?
The one that you sent me when I was leaving the hospital said Osiris Black, a well-known insider or Neo guy.
Oh, okay. I'll read this. I'll just read the entire article.
Okay.
All right. So it says the gaming industry is seeing some remarkable changes this generation, from the tremendous growth of digital gaming in the console landscape to mid-gen hardware additions. Our hobby is maturing and escaping the confines of what previously are rather conservative fare in comparison to.
Wait, come on. I ain't got that. What article is it? I ain't got that one. I got the one here. Massive PS4 Neo leaks GPU 2 times as powerful. What site are you on?
I'm on gamingdaily.com. I'll send you the link right now. Hold on.
Okay. Gaming. Well, let me get up to speed. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Actually, no, it's What the hell are you?
Okay, I sent it to you there.
All right, here we go. I'm getting up to speed now. All right. All right, shoot, you go. I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
All right. Sony by okay. Sorry, right. Okay. Sony by confirming that it's working on an upgraded PS4 in the form of Neo, and Microsoft announcing the Scorpio. These two giants in the console arena have kickstarted a whole new arms race, much to the delight and dismay of gamers worldwide. Microsoft announced the base specifications of Xbox Scorpio, and it looks like a beastly machine, and based on the earlier leaked specs, a lot more powerful than the PlayStation Neo. However, you may wish to hold off on thinking everything is set in stone just yet. In an interview with French gaming site Joe's Video, when asked how Sony would handle a 2 teraflop disadvantage in favor of Microsoft's new machine, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan stated that those so-called facts were based on rumors that were fairly speculative in their nature, and that people should talk once the final specs of the two consoles are actually announced. When confronted about the possibility of a 2 teraflop advantage might be true, Jim Ryan just laughed it off repeatedly in a maniacal manner that would make Samurai Jack proud. And I don't know, there's like some excerpt from the video here. And
Mm.
then here it goes. Oris Black suggested that we're looking at a machine that benefits from 5.5 teraflops opposed to 4.1 teraflops that earlier leaks suggest.
So
So
even by that, it's still weaker than the goddamn Scorpio.
yeah, it is.
What's this? This one I'm looking here. Osiris Black, a well-known insider on NeoGAF, has leaked a ton of interesting news detailing about the PlayStation 4 Neo, as also known as the PS4K. According to Osiris Black, this PlayStation Neo information comes straight from the reliable developer source. So without further ado, here are some of the information. We got here about the PlayStation 4 Neo GPU is going to be twice as powerful as the standard PlayStation 4 and much faster. It says here the source did not reveal exactly how fast the GPU is going to be, but it was confirmed that it will be running at a higher clock speed while being much smaller than an original. About the price, source revealed that the PlayStation 4 Neo is currently priced at, what I read, it was shooting for $399. However, this might go up by $100 more to me because of Sony's considering adding a better CPU, which will raise the price. However, the source added that they have been guaranteed that the price of the PlayStation 4 Neo will not be higher than $499. It says here, coming to the specs in the thread on NeoGAF, Osiris Black revealed that the PlayStation 4 Neo will offer 5.5 teraflops in performance and with a $599 price point in the thread. And it says, to be declarable, Osiris had mentioned details about it above. We'll have a 4K Blu-ray player, yada, yada, yada. But it goes down. It goes back at the bottom of the article. It says here, it said updated. There were a few mistakes in the article due to multi-posts from Osiris on NeoGAF. Here is the clarification. He says Sony is currently testing 2 different PS4 Neo models. Out of these 2, only one will be selected for consumers. The PlayStation 4 Neo we're offering a 4.2 teraflops in performance and has a Jaguar CPU. They're still using the same goddamn Jaguar CPU. And the Chilling carries a price tag of $399. The second iteration of the Infinity is a 5.5 teraflop GPU and comes with a brand new CPU and carries a price tag of $499. Now, what I read from a big, third-party company that they were using the same Jaguar CPU technology, it was just overclocked a little faster. You know what I mean? So now I don't, like I said, I don't know if it's just the Sony fans running and scrambling and and trying to make the performance leap. Not it was even 0.5 because you check it out. Let's fuck that. Let's be honest here. Sony fans made a big to do out of 1.31 teraflops compared to 1.83 teraflops. Okay, as far as the PS4 compared to the Xbox One. Even if this is true, which I don't think so. I don't know. That's just this too. As I think to me, my honest opinion is cutting too close. I don't know how they're testing. This console's coming out in October, November. Sony needs the Neo to complement the fucking PlayStation VR. They go together like a fucking hand in a glove. You know what I mean? Well, again, what I think a lot of these fans are understanding, Sony is also has a VR machine that's coming out that they're also heavily invested into. You know what I mean? We're talking about over $500 fucking million. Okay, that and talking about scrapping that and making new hardware doesn't make any fucking sense financially.
No.
It doesn't. I'm just being real. Maybe if Sony wasn't making their own dedicated VR headset, then fine. Maybe but I guess that's just spreading itself too fucking thin. And also, we are talking about Sony, and they are not good at fucking business. So this shit may come to I don't know. I really don't know at the end of the day, man. But what what I read, it was from like I said, I'm still gonna go with what I read from a very, very known third party company. That's the same CPU, overclocked a little higher, same 8 gigs of RAM, with a little higher memory bandwidth, and the GPU is twice as powerful. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I will say from like my own sources and like from the original leaks that came out that there probably is a little bit of validity to 2 different systems that they're testing out.
Uh-huh.
But as far as I know, and as far as the leaks have suggested, it's not the GPU that's different in the 2 different consoles. It's the CPU. They were unsure if they were going to go forward with the Jaguar CPU. And truth be told, I think it's a big mistake for them to go forward with the Jaguar CPU. They should need to get rid of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they might go with a more customized, newer type of GPU.
Well,
I
what can
don't
they
think
use
it'll.
right now that's on the market at Sony that's better than the Jaguar?
Well, there's like they have like the FX processors from AMD. They have different lines. The Jaguar is like the weakest one. Jaguar is
Hmm.
horrible. It's horrible. Um, sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, I was
Anyhow, yeah.
asking
So
about what
so
CPU could they, and I'm just thinking, out loud. If they do,
only the FX is because it's coming out this October. Only the FX because the Zen is not coming out till the end of this year or early 2017. So it's not enough time for the Zen. The Zen's going to be ready next year, so it's definitely not going to be the Zen, but it could be an upgraded like an FX series in there. It could be some type of they customize it specifically for the PS4. Now, having a better CPU in there is gonna increase the efficiency of the system. Obviously, it's gonna decrease the bottlenecks.
hmm
It'll increase bandwidth and all this type of stuff, and it'll increase the teraflop slightly. So, but this 5.5 that they're stating, we know 100% for sure that it's running Polaris RX 480
but
because
excuse me,
that's
a
the
teraflop from the CPU alone? That's a lot of goddamn juice.
you know you want no no you want you no you wouldn't get no they would probably overclock the GPU a little bit and overclock the CPU a little bit and combine they'll get a little bit more teraflop performance. No, it's not just from the CPU. CPU is not going to give you that much of an
That's what
increase.
I'm trying to say. 'Cause going by the GPU aspect, whatever, I guess let's say 4 teraflops or whatever, and even if they go with a beefier CPU, you talking about a zero point 0.3 in teraflop performance. It's going from 4.2 to 5.5.
No, it's not going to go to 5.5. Like so, basically, he's running down the complete specs of the RX 480 at the
Okay.
5.5, and that's at like I believe that 5.5 is reached at like
Yeah,
1266
at
megahertz.
at the highest settings possible, that 5.5.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not. It's definitely not going to do that. The most I could give it going to is maybe 4.5. Maybe they could stretch it out to 4.6, but it's just not going to happen in the console. It's just
Okay,
not going
actually,
to
now,
happen.
okay. Let's break down from there. Now that makes sense right there. Now, what are the normal specs of the RX 480 without overclocking? What is it?
Without overclocking, I believe it's at 5.5.
Plain and simple. This is the RX 480 is 5.5 without overclocking anything.
Yeah, without overclocking it. With the boost clocks, it's 5.5.
Without the boost clocks.
Well, the boost clocks are pretty stable, so like no one's gonna run it without the boost clocks. It's gonna run at the
But
boost clocks.
I'm
So
talking about, but again, we're talking about inside a console.
without
Let's
the boost clocks, I would say I don't know, maybe 5.2 or something like that.
okay, all right.
5.3
Let's
without
say
the
that,
boost
but I'm just
clock.
saying, man, because the same specs and numbers that you get on a rig is not what you're going to get on a console. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm trying to undercut Sony. I'm just being practical here. That's a lot of fucking heat for something that's going to go under your fucking TV screen. The reason why under your TV, under your entertainment center, the reason why computer rigs are so fucking big because they need the airflow. That's a lot of fucking heat and processing power. Now, and
Yeah.
again, not to say that just even if it's 4.5 teraflops, that's still a lot of fucking juice in a closed environment, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? Um, you know, um, and again, I just want to be clear that I'm not saying that the PlayStation 4 Neo is going to be shit. No, it's not. But you have to, I don't know how to say, put your expectations in check here. Microsoft, the Xbox Scorpio is going to be newer hardware, newer technology. That's nothing to argue with. That's fact. You know what I mean? What Sony's using, that's coming out this year, right now. You know what I mean? So if like you said, Dean, going by what Phil said, we could have put out a beefier Xbox One because the chips are available. They're not that expensive, but we wanted true native 4K gaming. You know what I mean? I think most likely that the PS4 Neo probably 1440p, maybe upscale to quote unquote 4K. Well, yeah, because according to this, they can upscale. This was exactly what it said. It says that they're not making it mandatory for the developers, but the console will be able to upscale, games to 4K. That I did read. You know what I mean? And I guess then it depends on the game. How graphically demanding the game is. If quite sure if Sony wanted to, what's the fucking Rezo gun? I'm quite sure they can get that in 4K native when it got. I mean, I'm just being real, just being honest here. I'm quite sure, or maybe even some sports games, or maybe I don't know, maybe even a racer. You know what I mean? Because it's not that hard to get 1080p on the fucking races. Cars going around the track. It's not a lot going on outside of that. But you know what I mean. But going forward, like I said, well, again, what was also told to me, and this that when it comes to hardware or anything like that, Microsoft won't be that. You know, we can debate here all day who had the better games. You know what I mean? You say tomato, I say tomato. But when it comes to hardware, I heard this from other people outside of the goddamn, not even pro Microsoft, not even pro Sony. Motherfuckers ain't got a dog in the race. They're neutral. They want their games on both said platforms. That when it comes to hardware, so but this means Sony can match Microsoft. They have more money. That's just fact. I don't care how you spend it. They have more fact. Now listen, and I will give Sony credit. Their strong suits is Sony is a hardware company. This is what they do. This is what keeps the lights on. You know what I mean? They make shit. The fact that they had the PS4 and they had powerful console and had the power supply inside the console, it speaks to what they're good at. Microsoft is a software company, networking. When it comes to features and OS shit, they will always be light years ahead of Sony. I get it. You know what I mean? Now going forward, like I said, what it was told to me, and again, I wish I could. Maybe when this console, I want to lose their goddamn job because motherfuckers think, bro, like that I'm just making this shit up. Like I ain't got none of
spill the beans, man.
Yeah, and come up and say a bunch of, but I would never like do that. Like I didn't heard. Listen, I'd have been a fly on the wall for many said conversations. I'm just being honest. I've been a fly on the wall for many said conversations. It's not that big of a deal to me to claim I'm a quote unquote that I'm an industry. I don't claim to be any of that shit right there whatsoever. I done had several publications reach out to me and asking me where the fuck did I get my information from. You know what I mean? Like it's fact. It is what it is. But I would never it's not that serious, not that big of a deal to me. But just going forward, even if Sony does change this, let's say it's this late in the game, and it is 5.5. But going by you guys' same theory, Microsoft can also change their specs. Then you understand?
Exactly. I was just thinking the same thing because PS4 Neo, they have 2 to 4 months to not even 2 to 3 months to tweak the console a little bit to try to upclock the CPU, upclock the GPU, change out the CPU. They got 2-3 month window to do that. Scorpio has over 16 months to finalize their specs. They don't even have a dev kit out yet. So they can still change some things to it. They can overclock it. And for all we know, they could be trolling Sony completely. Saying, yeah, we'll tell them it's 6 teraflops. So these guys bust their ass to try to get as close to 6 teraflops. And then when it comes out, we say, oh, by the way, we got it up to 7.5 teraflops,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Microsoft has much more room for improvement because they have more time and it's not completely finalized yet.
Yeah. And according, like I said, the Neo's coming out this year. What I read. Now, again, Sony scrapped that and said, you know what, we're not going to bring I don't know. Like I said, because if they're going to push back the PlayStation VR, then maybe. But the VR is coming out this holiday season. And again, I'll put it to you guys like this. We all saw E3, and you saw the games that they showed for E3 on stage right then and there, right? And the VR games, those looked like PlayStation 4 games, right? Cool. Now date back to last December and look at those VR games. Those shits look like PS2 and fucking PS1, PS3 type graphics. There's a big fucking difference. So, like I said before, Sony is heavily invested in quote unquote these VR, and to show this said hardware, they want to put their best foot forward. You know what I mean? And again, with the quote unquote. Now, here's the thing. I think Sony kind of boxed itself in. I think they should have been honest from the offset because you had people that going out and reserve these PlayStation VR. And I heard this from several people, developers, that with the vanilla PlayStation 4, the PlayStation VR runs like shit. It makes people sick. It's hard to have both 60 frames in both eyes, so like the motion sickness. I mean, and to combat that. So, like I said, not just saying that they made the PlayStation 4 Neo for the VR. It's obviously other things. The developers wanted more power. Technology is always moving forward. But if they're going to push back the VR, if that doesn't come out this holiday season, then maybe. But like I said, again, I think Sony should have been upfront with the people when they start talking about the VR. That hey, we have a console that's coming out that's better suited for the quote unquote PlayStation VR. Because you had a lot of people before there was any talks about the Neo. People went out and reserved this goddamn PlayStation VR. You remember? You know what I mean? People are going to be fucking upset because people, again, Sony they're full of shit. When they showed that fucking VR on stage at E3, the people with the vanilla PlayStation 4, they think that their games are going to look like that once they get the fucking PlayStation VR in hand. It's not the fucking case. I can promise you. I would bet my fucking channel on it and my collection of granny porn that it will be nowhere near that. You know what I mean? But I don't. I just have, I would hate to see they think consumers are stupid. I just think like Sony. I don't know what the fuck, man. You know,
It's
maybe
it's not
yeah.
it's not gonna get delayed. Like that's just wishful thinking. If they would have to scrap all their plans and come out next year. There'd be millions and millions of dollars wasted. They they
R&D.
they they, they can't. Sony is not the money having company that they used to be. They cannot afford that. PS4 is keeping that company afloat. They
Yeah, true.
cannot afford to lose any type of money. Number one. Number two, like I stated, they do not want to miss out on the HDR 4K revolution that's going on this right now. They want to get those customers as soon as possible. Sony does not have a 4K HDR player out on the market.
No.
They don't have one.
Good
So
point.
they want to jump on top of that. Number two, I'm reading a lot of reports saying that at E3 that they had the Xbox One S running 4K upscaled 4K and HDR in those games,
Mm-hmm.
right up against the 4K, the actual 4K on the PC,
Mm.
and all of the people that saw them, these are like journalists. They said that the HDR version looked much better than the 4K version.
Yeah,
So
because it's natural colors. That yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so they're not going to want to miss out on that too. Because people, once it comes out and people start having it and word of mouth gets out, people say, "Oh my God, I want to get this." So they need to jump on the 4K HDR train. And the leaked documents clearly give us so many hints when they say that every game must have a Neo mode by October. Right there alone, like I don't understand how they think it's going to get delayed and they're going to be able to change the specs. They can't.
I guess again, no one wants their console. I guess they prefer console to be fucking outshadowed and overgunned. But again, I've been talking about this, about the games for forever. But it was Sony fans that kind of, and Sony kind of boxed itself in the corner when they talk about power, power, power. I still think it's kind of silly for console gamers to be arguing about resolution and frames per second. That's just me. At the end of the day, and I've always said it's not a fact that resolution does not determine better graphics. Fact, you know what I mean? You can be playing Super Mario Bros. 64 and playing that in 4K, and I can be playing God of War, 3 on the PlayStation 3, and I guarantee my God of War 3 will look better than Mario 64 in 4K. Fact, you know what I
Definitely.
mean? So at the end of the day, but also, so I want to touch before we get the hell out of here. So is there any rumor with Nintendo maybe using it in their platform?
If I had to, it's you know what it's I don't know, man. They're keeping their stuff well under wraps. It's at the minimum. I would say it's going to be running an RX 480. I would say at the minimum. I don't think it would be running anything lower than that, unless they're going to put like an RX 460 in it or something like that, which would guarantee 1080p 60 frames, but it wouldn't really be able to go higher than that. So it's kind of it's I don't know. We really don't know enough about that system.
But here's the thing too. What scares me about Nintendo going forward, because they said they're gonna leave it to Microsoft and Sony to fight it out over the teraflops and that big Red Sea. And then Red Sea has never been about this. They're just so fucking naive, or I don't know what the fuck's going on with Nintendo. It's not about the set specs. It's about the games. You guys been putting out that same fucking Mario and Donkey Kong since 80 fucking two. Like, goddamn, if you don't change the fucking art style or something, like, there's
Yeah,
that old 2D shaded shit. I mean, god damn.
yeah,
But
they're
here's the
so
thing.
behind.
But I won't even say I think is I think Nintendo's going with another gimmick. As far as this touchscreen controller, instead of just making a traditional console and giving everyone the fucking Wii, what's that shit? The Wii U Pro controller as the standard fucking controller for the goddamn console. So I think that's going to take away from the specs there too. 'Cause they were saying that the controller supposed to have the screen on it and all this wild shit. You know what I mean? So
Well,
do you think? Yeah.
the fact that they come out and directly say they're not going to go against Sony and Microsoft with the teraflops, that they're just going to stay in their lane should pretty much tell us it's not going to be as powerful. I think it's going to be new. I think it's going to be new architect. I think it's going to be Polaris, but I think it's going to be like the lower end because you also have a RX 470 and you also have an RX 460. So
Mm-hmm.
if I had to guess, it's probably going to be an RX 460 or an RX 470, or maybe that's why they delayed it to put an RX 480 in it. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. We'd have to wait and see. Maybe they surprise us all. Fuck. Imagine
Yeah,
that. Imagine they came out with a fucking 10 teraflop system. Holy shit.
yeah, yeah.
The internet would break, man.
You know, I still wouldn't buy that shit. Though. I'm just too fucking straight. But let me ask you a question before we get done. Do you think that the NX will be more powerful than the Neo?
I don't know. The fact that it's coming out next year has a possibility to be because we really don't know what it's using.
Well, listen, what I heard.
I don't think so, but we don't know. We don't know. It's coming out next year, so they're gonna
Yeah,
have
but
they have access to the stocks that are coming out next year because it comes out next year.
but listen, for what I said with her, I don't know what happened. They were having some problems internally with some yield production, some yield problems or so. The NX was supposed to come out next year. Um, and just say that I know that from a pretty realm, so it wasn't meant to come out
Oh,
next year in March. Because even look the way they announced it, they said on Twitter, okay, the Neo will be out next March, in March 2017. They announced the shit over Twitter. You know what I mean? Like
right,
it was
right.
supposed to come out quote unquote this year. Secondly, like I said, this Taiwanese company. I'm sorry, if you look at what quote unquote what AMD was saying, they said they had two new shits coming out this year and one next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
you got the Neo this year, you got the NX, and then you got the Xbox Scorpio next year. This is what AMD said. And then about a month later, Nintendo came out and said, "Oh no, we're gonna the Nintendo NX Code NX will be out March." Or I don't know. They heard they would have some internal problems with some of the chips or something along those lines. And that's why it was the last minute. Cause like it's like Microsoft announcing or Sony announcing the PlayStation 4 Neo will be out December on Twitter. Like, yeah, what the fuck? Like last fucking minute there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, and also too, I mean, what's the thing? Like the console? Like if let's think about it, the console comes out in March, and there was no show for the motherfucker at E3. You know what I mean? Like I heard they had some serious issues internally going on in there. You know what I mean? Like that to me, that blows my fucking mind. E3 is the biggest fucking stage, even with far as Sony. E3 is the biggest fucking stage. I don't know how long Sony's gonna put off announcing this goddamn thing because you want people to go in and reserve the console, start paying on the goddamn console. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want people to get your quote unquote PlayStation VR and your fucking new console, like they're pretty
Yeah.
fucking ballsy to be putting. You know what I mean? Like you should be at least be able to go on that motherfucker to put the bitch on reserve or whatever the case may be. Like I said, I
Yeah,
don't know.
they need
You
some
know?
hype. They need some hype going into because
And they
you
said
got
they might not be fucking going to Gamescom. Sony said they might not even be coming to Gamescom. You know what I mean?
I think personally, I think Sony's gonna have a an event in like September. I
Like
think
well,
they're
they had
gonna
one
have
last year. That Parents Friends Week shit.
yeah.
They didn't do it.
I think they're gonna announce it in September. I'm pretty sure of that. And as far as the NX, they need some hype. People are looking forward to the Scorpio. People are looking forward to the Neo. No one really cares about the NX. And with the Neo coming out this year, with we know that Scorpio's coming out next year. With the Xbox One S coming out in August, you need to deflate some of their hype too. You need people to think about your console. So it's a big mistake for them not to show anything on their system, their new system.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. Again, it's the, you know, what I mean, you're not gonna have. I don't give a fuck what they do. You know what? I think it was just Sony at the last minute because you see that end stage prompt, you know, shit for them to play the last. What's that? The no days left to play that. Like, come on, they were supposed to talk about the goddamn Neo. But you know what, Sony, bravo to Microsoft. They came out and announced the specs. If some Microsoft just said they had a Scorpio and then same thing about the specs, Sony would have said it probably would have showed the Neo. You know what I mean? But the 6 teraflop, they can't fucking, you know what I mean?
So
4.2. Yeah.
Sony is the type of company that when they have the power advantage or any type of advantage,
Oh yeah, yeah.
they go to the top of the mountain and they yell that
Lay
motherfucker
on their
out. You
chest.
know.
The world's most powerful console. Not anymore.
And what
Sorry.
was it? Was it? I think his name was Andrew House. Is that the
Yeah.
guy's name?
Yeah.
Where when they asked him about it, he said, "Well, it's not going to be the end all to be all." So
Yeah.
now, why the hell would you say that? Why would you say, "No, we're going to have a comparable system. It's going to be comparable on the specs. There's not going to be a gap. They're going to be on par with each other." He didn't say that. He says, you know, it's not really what counts. And then this guy's coming out and saying this nonsense just to give the fan base some hope so that they can get some hype. But trust me, if the system was more powerful than the Scorpio, or if it was going to be on par with the Scorpio, they would say it And number two, Microsoft wouldn't come out so confident and say we have the most powerful gaming console ever created.
Yeah.
That alone, and that alone, that it's not available. They said that the GPU they want is not available this year, so they're going with it in 2017. And we already know the PS4 Neo has a dev kit, two if you want to believe the leaks. They have two different models of it. Shows you that they're two different GPUs. So no matter what they do with that architecture, if they overclock it, whatever, it's not going to be the same as Vega, because Vega is a higher line GPU. I'm sorry, guys. The PS4 Neo is just not going to be as powerful as the Xbox Scorpio, no matter what they do. Xbox can just counteract to it, and upclock their CPU, upclock their GPU as they're running a much more advanced architecture in their system. So I'll tell you guys.
All right, so before we get the hell out of here, I want to address one dick sucker in the comment section. I don't ever look at the chat thing here. His name was Pharaoh something. I maybe say deleted. I didn't mean to delete the goddamn message. I meant to just click on it. He put something next gen. You start reporting on rumors and play some games so people can stop. Listen here, you dick sucker. I report what the fuck I want to report on my fucking channel. Okay, you the same motherfucker said it was a rumor, and I told you dick suckers that new consoles were coming out. Do me a favor, drink fucking bleach. Don't watch my shit. Okay, go to one of the motherfucking pro PlayStation channels and give it the fuck. You mad? The Neo is not gonna be more powerful than the fucking Scorpio. Live with it. Love it. You mad? Y'all gonna get this work. And I ain't even no fanboy shit. I'm just fucking talking about this. And listen here again. I don't think it's practical. You know, there's a lot of money to be spending on R&D on fucking said hardware. But again, we are talking about Sony. They got shit for bread. They're shit at business. You know, they want to waste 2 years of R&D to still not be as powerful as the goddamn Scorpio. You know, it's I don't know. You know, either way, they're still not. I don't give a fuck. They wait to. Because it's still not going to be more powerful than the Scorpio. Fact. So, it is what it is, man. Like I said, they've been developing this console for over 2 years. To throw all that shit away, to try to get it doesn't really make any sense. And you have VR coming out this year. Really doesn't make any sense. That's a lot of fucking hardware. That's a lot of R&D. That's a lot of fucking money. And so they need to put some of that shit back in the, you know what I mean? They just spent that a lot. They need to, and again, the PlayStation division is the only thing really that's holding up Sony afloat. You know what I mean? Just being honest. But thank you guys for rocking out with me and my boy Dean D, the tech guy from Xbox Beast 5. If you haven't checked out the latest episode, please do so. I'm gonna get a link to D's channel here. I'm gonna leave it. It's the first time. Go by and check out my boy, subscribe to him, and we out of here, man. Beefing.
Hey.